foremost, we give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makar Salakia. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to you brothers out there teaching this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I saw this article here. This guy who the founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma. Okay, this guy is a high level, lesser luminary. Okay, and he's a billionaire. Okay, Chinese billionaire. This is on CNBC. Chinese billionaire Jack Ma says the U.S. wasted trillions on warfare instead of investing in infrastructure. Right. So he's saying, hey, the U.S. You're through. Okay, you're mismanaged. All right. And yet, although he's saying that America's I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna go to a different article because although what he's saying is true, but whatever America does, let's say if America starts investing in infrastructure, that's not gonna work. Okay, and there's an example of that in San Francisco. First, I'm gonna read through this. Alibaba founder Jack Ma fired a shot at the U.S. in an interview at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. Ma was asked by CNBC about U.S. economy in relation to China, since Trump has been talking about imposing new tariffs on Chinese imports. Ma says blaming China for any economic issue in the U.S. is misguided. If America is looking to blame anyone, Ma said, it should be itself. It's not that other countries steal jobs from you guys, Ma said. It's your strategy. Distribute the money and things in a proper way, right? Because the Chinese, they control all the money. Okay. They control the Chinese, the communist government there. They control all the money and they push it around to people. Okay. And the Chinese Communist Party actually, they're the ones that own everything. Okay. But like I said, like brothers have said before in other videos, the China is just a playground for what the elites want to do for the rest of the world. Okay. He said that the U.S. has wasted over $14 trillion in fighting wars over the past 30 years, rather than investing in infrastructure at home. To be sure, Ma is not the only critic of the costly U.S. policies of waging war against terrorism and other enemies outside the homeland. Still, Ma said this was the reason America's economic growth had weakened, not China's supposed thefts of jobs. In fact, Ma called outsourcing a wonderful and perfect strategy. The American multinational companies made millions and millions of dollars from globalization, Ma said. The past 30 years, IBM, Cisco, Microsoft, they made tens of millions. The profits they've made are much more than the 4 Chinese banks put together. But where did the money go? Yeah, where did that money go? It went right to the fucking so-called Jew. He said the U.S. is not distributing or investing its money properly, and that's why many people in the country feel racked with economic anxiety. He said too much money flows to Wall Street and Silicon Valley. Instead, the country should be helping the Midwest and Americans not good in schooling too. Yeah, you're supposed to be helping all of America, but the so-called white man, he's the devil the Bible speaks of, okay? And he's not going to help, okay? He said the U.S. So yeah, he just goes in. This I'll post article in the. I'll say you're supposed to spend money on your own people. Ma said, not everybody could pass Harvard like me. In a previous interview, Ma said he had been rejected by Harvard 10 times. Along those lines, Ma stressed that globalization is a good thing, but it too should be inclusive, with the spoils not going to the wealthy few. The world needs new leadership, but the new leadership is about working together, Ma said. As a business person, I want the world to share the prosperity together, right? So he's part of that New World Order, okay? And let's say America is San Francisco, that's Silicon Valley. They're investing in their infrastructure, but what happened? They put $2.5 billion in this thing. Major traffic in SF due to Transbay Transit Center shut down. Okay, so Morning commuters were confused early Wednesday as they ducked under caution tape, navigated street detours, and scoured parking garages that were already full before the sun rose in SF. The traffic gridlock was caused by the unprecedented shutdown of the city's brand new $2.2 billion transit center. All right, and they call it the Penn Station of the West, or Grand Central Station of the West. It opened last month in August. All right. After a cracked steel beam supported the roof garden was discovered Tuesday morning. The timing couldn't be worse, as tens of thousands of additional people make their way into the city for the annual Dreamforce Tech Conference put on by Salesforce. And Salesforce, they actually they're the ones who put their name on top of that center, and they're right across the street. In total, the conference is expected to draw 170,000 attendees and thousands more workers. And that doesn't include the number of people commuting throughout the city for their day jobs. So this is the infrastructure, man. There's a cracked steel beam, and there's actually a tower in San Francisco, too, that's also leaning over. Okay? They call it the Millennial Tower. So I'll put this in the article, all right? And he said, you should be spending on your people, but that's not the case, all right? The so-called white man is the devil. Malachi 1 and 1. The burden of the word of the Lord is Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Where as Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Okay? So you so-called white people, man, you're building, but the Most High, he's going to tear it down. With the thermonuclear missiles, but also he's tearing it down using your own stupidity. Okay, because the so-called white man, he doesn't know how to operate anything, okay? Let me get this. Alright, he doesn't know how to operate anything, okay? He's the wicked. Okay, he's the wicked the Bible speaks of. Let me get this real quick. Because Jeff Ma, he's talking about, how you're supposed to be giving people money. Or you got all this money going to a select few and the rest of the people aren't getting it yet because the so-called white man is the devil, all right? This is Psalms 37 and 21. It says, the wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous show mercy and giveth. Yeah, because you borrowed the center cost $2.2 billion, but who has to pay that for $2.2 billion?
About human feces.
You people
that are and 6,000 complaints about used drug needles. That's up 228%.
Working in and out the Bay Area. You're taking the bridge. You're paying. You live in San Francisco. Okay, you live in the Bay Area. You take the BART. You're taking the buses. You're paying. If you don't take the bus, you just live anywhere around the area. You're paying in taxes for this big piece of crap that really was I want to see a different photo. Yeah, which really was a place before they tore it down. It was just a place for derelicts, homeless, cockroaches, rats. Now they try to make it real nice and make it they put a park on the top of it so the homeless can't get on top. But now look at it. Okay, because whatever you so-called white people do, the Most High isn't with it. He's throwing it down. Okay, and you so-called white people, you borrow this stuff and you never pay it back. And here I'm gonna show this one right here on Twitter. I saw it says, "I'm about to start the trashiest of chains. We're talking dirty streets in San Francisco, and why the city thought it was a good idea to spend $400,000 on research that claims SF in near spotless shit. Let the garbage puns begin. It's time to talk dirty." It says SF Public Works is in charge of street cleaning and paid a public relations firm to survey SF so that the city could gauge its own job performance. Its own job performance. We've learned that the firm was paid $400K and awarded San Francisco streets and sidewalks a near perfect cleanliness score, which is ridiculous. Here's how many complaints SF receives on average day about filth on the streets. Trash, 180. Human waste, 16. Used needles, 27. But a PR firm hired by the city wants you to believe SF is nearly spotless. It says, last year the PR firm JBR Partners determined SF was hold on a second. Determined that SF was the cleanest city has been in 4 years, but over that same period, complaints about human feces on the city streets and sidewalks nearly doubled to roughly 20,000 complaints last year. It's crazy, man. Ugh, you want to see it. I'll put these all on the link. San Francisco street cleaning budget now totals $72 million. That's up to $65 million last year. Okay, SF pays millions more to clean its streets and sidewalks than other large cities with even bigger populations, including Chicago, San Jose, San Diego, and LA. LA is 10 times larger than SF and collects 9 times the amount of trash. But San Francisco still spent $20 million more on street cleaning last year. How is that even possible, man? I'll tell you how it's possible. The so-called white man is through, okay? So they paid a PR firm $400,000 while the city is still shitty. Okay, why is that? So Jack Ma, there's nothing you can do, man. There's nothing people can do because they're not righteous. Okay, they don't know how to operate whatsoever righteously. Okay, let me bring this out in Luke, because when the Lord brought out this parable, it's twofold. Then it's a literal sense and also the spiritual sense. This is Luke 14 and 28. For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether ye have sufficient to finish it? Thus happily after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening to you so-called white people. You're building these big old towers, okay? And that you're building towers and they're tilting. They're falling over, man. You're building huge transit centers, state-of-the-art transit centers that are not even sound. The beam, a support beam, isn't even sound. It has a fissure in it. It's cracked. That's the foundation. Okay, and that's what you so-called white people are doing. Okay, that's exactly what's happening with you. Okay. You never counted the cost on how to build this place, America. You just borrow and never want to pay back. The world cannot survive like this. This is not how the Most High created this is not the purpose of life, man. But the so-called white man, this wicked, twisted place we're in, called America, this is how he operates. All right? And this is how you're supposed to build a house. Proverbs 24 and 3. Through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Yeah, what's that house really speaking of, man? It's talking about the house of David, man, the house of Israel, the people, okay? And then all the way on down into your house, you, your wife, your son, your daughter, okay? And then all the way down really to the nation. Like I said, Israel, that's a nation. The so-called white man, you try to build a nation, America. But that's not based upon any understanding or wisdom. This is built on wickedness. And there is no knowledge. The knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. And the pleasant and pleasant riches are not here. Here it is, San Francisco, so rich. And this is what's going on, you know? Just feces, trash all over the place. Oh my God, and the hyperthermic needles are everywhere. Welcome to the Bay, man. All right? Welcome to the richest place in the world. Okay? It says, a wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Okay? And you so-called white people, you counsel with who? Other devils. Just a finesse, just to run up the check. Okay, run up the invoice. On whose tab? The people's tab. And that's why America is going to go is going down. It is down. It's through. Okay, as you can see, right? It's through. All this money's going where? No accountability. You know, we might as well be China, and it's going to be China here in goddamn America, right? So as you can see, brothers, this place really, really is done. I'm gonna wrap it up on this scripture actually, because this is the time we're in, man. We're now in the time of building this place up. Okay, and spiritually we're tearing this thing down every day, and the Most High is doing it. Okay, Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. All right, and we know all these time, you know, the time of building up, we're in the time of breaking down. Yeah, the white man, he has all these projects. Oh, we're gonna build this, we're gonna build that. Well, they're falling apart as he's building them, man. So whether, oh yeah, y'all shouldn't spend money on the war, they're spending money on the war because they're getting ready for World War III. All right, Jeff Ma. Okay, the so-called white man has no concern about the people. He's the wicked. Okay, he doesn't. It's not how he operates, man. Okay, it's not how this guy operates. He's not about He's not about ruling righteously. Okay, this is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's how he bears rule. He's not here to divvy out the coin. Okay, he's here to steal from us. Okay. And with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Okay, and Shalom.